Welcome to Anime Vault. Today, we're diving into Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the prequel movie that sets the foundation for Jujutsu Kaisen. Before Yuji Itadori ever swallowed Sukuna's finger, before he entered Jujutsu High, there was Yuta Okatsu, a boy cursed by love. Yuta wasn't just any ordinary student. He was sentenced to death before he even knew what Jujutsu sorcery was. Why? Because he was haunted by Rika Orimoto, an overwhelmingly powerful special-grade curse that attacked anyone who tried to harm him. But Rika wasn't just any curse. She was once human. This is the story of how Yuta Okatsu went from a terrified, powerless boy to one of the most powerful sorcerers in the world. So sit back, because this is Jujutsu Kaisen 0, explained. A love that turned into a curse. Our story begins with Yuta Okatsu, a 16-year-old boy with a horrifying problem. He's haunted by a vengeful spirit, one that follows him everywhere. That spirit is Rika Orimoto, his childhood best friend, and the girl he loved most in the world. 6 years ago, Rika and Yuta were inseparable. She was his light, his closest friend, and the person who made him feel safe. One day, she gave him a ring and told him, "Now we're engaged. That means we'll be together forever." But fate had other plans. Not long after, Rika was brutally killed in a car accident, right before Yuta's eyes. But instead of passing on peacefully, she transformed into an enormous, grotesque, cursed spirit bound to Yuta for eternity. Since then, Rika has violently attacked anyone who tries to harm him. And the worst part? Yuta has no control over her. One day, a group of bullies corners Yuta at school. Before they can even lay a hand on him, Rika materializes and crushes all four of them into a single locker, nearly killing them. This incident alerts Jujutsu High, and the higher-ups issue an execution order for Yuta. They see him as too dangerous to be left alive. But before they can carry it out, one man steps in to stop it. Satoru Gojo. Gojo saves Yuta and JJK High begins. Rather than letting Yuta be executed, Gojo intervenes and brings him to Jujutsu High. He believes Yuta's power isn't just dangerous, it's extraordinary. But if Yuta doesn't learn to control it, it will consume him. At Jujutsu High, Yuta meets his new classmates. Maki Zenin, a fierce fighter from the Zenin clan. She has no cursed energy, but wields cursed tools with unmatched skill. Toga Inumaki, a quiet sorcerer who only speaks in rice ball ingredients to prevent accidentally using his deadly cursed speech. Panda, a talking, battle-ready panda with a secret. At this point in the timeline, these three are first years, meaning Yuta was actually their classmate before Yuji Itadori entered the picture. From the moment Yuta arrives, it's clear. He's different. Even though he's timid, his presence is suffocating. He's a special-grade sorcerer, and that terrifies even his own allies. Maki, in particular, has no respect for him. To her, Yuta is a weakling, someone who relies on an overpowered curse to do all the fighting for him. But Yuta is about to get thrown straight into the deep end because Gojo wastes no time and sends him on his first mission. Yuta's first battle, the elementary school curse. For his first mission, Yuta is paired with Maki. Their task? Investigate an abandoned elementary school where 2 children have disappeared. Inside, they find the place crawling with minor curses. Maki, using her cursed tools, easily wipes them out. But Yuta? He stands there, frozen in fear. That's when the real threat appears. A massive special-grade curse materializes and swallows them whole, trapping them inside its grotesque body. Inside, they find the 2 missing children, barely alive, their energy being drained away. Maki, injured and exhausted, yells at Yuta to fight. And in that moment, something clicks inside him. Yuta grabs his engagement ring, the one Rika gave him, and puts it on his finger. "Rika, help me." In an instant, Rika erupts from his body, her monstrous form tearing through the curse like paper. She rips it apart, limb by limb, in a horrifying display of raw power. For the first time, Yuta realizes that Rika isn't just a curse that haunts him. She's his weapon. Yuta trains, and Geto makes his move. After this mission, Yuta dedicates himself to getting stronger. He learns swordsmanship from Maki. He studies cursed energy control under Gojo. He forms a bond with Toge, learning how to channel his power through speech. But while Yuta is growing stronger, a far greater threat looms in the shadows. Suguru Geto, one of the most dangerous sorcerers in history, is planning something catastrophic. Geto was once Gojo's closest friend, but now he's a twisted extremist who believes only sorcerers should exist. His goal? A war against Jujutsu High. On December 24, 2017, Geto declares war, launching the Night Parade of 100 Demons, an all-out assault on Kyoto and Tokyo. But that's just a distraction. His true goal is to steal Rika from Yuta, because if he succeeds, he will become unstoppable. To be continued. That's where we'll pause for now. In the next part, we'll cover Geto's attack on Jujutsu High, Yuta's final battle against Geto, and the shocking truth behind Rika's curse. So stay tuned for part 2, because things are about to get even more intense. Welcome back to Anime Vault. In part 1, we covered how Yuta Okatsu, a cursed boy haunted by the vengeful spirit of his childhood love, Rika Orimoto, was saved by Gojo Satoru and brought to Jujutsu High. Through training and battle, Yuta discovered his potential, learning to control Rika's overwhelming power. But as he grew stronger, a greater threat emerged in the shadows. Suguru Geto, the former friend of Gojo and one of the most dangerous Jujutsu sorcerers in history. Geto's plan? Launch a massive attack on Kyoto and Tokyo, known as the Night Parade of 100 Demons. Use the chaos as a distraction to steal Rika from Yuta. Now the battle begins. Let's get into it. The Night Parade of 100 Demons, December 24th, 2017, Christmas Eve. A night of celebration turns into a night of terror as Geto launches an all-out onslaught on Japan, unleashing thousands of curses across Kyoto and Tokyo. Jujutsu sorcerers mobilize across the cities. Nanami Kento takes on an entire army of curses solo, unleashing his black flash and slicing through enemies with surgical precision. Kyoto's sorcerers, including Utahaime, engage in desperate battles to keep the civilians safe. Panda, Maki, and Toge hold the line in Tokyo, taking on a wave of monstrous curses. But while the city burns, Geto makes his move. His real target is Yuta. Geto versus Yuta. The final battle begins. Back at Jujutsu High, Yuta and Rika sense something is wrong. That's when he sees him, Suguru Geto, standing alone outside the school gates. Geto smiles and steps forward, holding his massive black staff. I've come to take Rika. Without hesitation, Geto unleashes a horde of curses straight at Yuta. But Yuta isn't alone. Maki rushes in, taking on Geto head-on with her cursed weapons. Toge activates his cursed speech. Explode, sending curses flying. Panda transforms into his gorilla mode, smashing through Geto's defenses. But Geto is one of the strongest sorcerers alive. With a flick of his wrist, he sends Maki crashing through a building. He blocks Toge's cursed speech with ease, but neutralizing him. He overpowers Panda, leaving him unconscious. Within minutes, Yuta's friends are down, and now he's alone. Yuta versus Geto, awakening his true power. Yuta stands in front of his fallen friends, shaking with rage. You hurt them, Geto smirks. You don't understand, do you? Rika is too powerful for a weakling like you. Let me show you what true strength is. Then, Geto unleashes his ultimate technique. From his hand, he calls forth his strongest curse, a massive dragon-like spirit, roaring as it charges toward Yuta. But instead of running, Yuta steps forward. He grips Rika's ring tight and kisses it. Rika, give me everything. A dark aura explodes from Yuta's body, his cursed energy skyrocketing to unimaginable levels. And then, Rika fully manifests. But this time, it's different. She isn't just acting on instinct, she's fighting for Yuta. With a monstrous scream, Rika lunges at Geto's ultimate curse, ripping it apart in one strike. Yuta dashes forward, sword in hand, channeling all of Rika's energy into a single slash. Geto barely has time to react before, slash! Blood splatters. Geto staggers back, his body torn open. But instead of looking angry, he smiles. Well done, Yuta. He knows he's lost. Gojo arrives, and Geto's final moments. Wounded and defeated, Geto stumbles through the ruins of Jujutsu High. That's when Gojo appears. They stand there, face to face, once best friends, now enemies. Gojo looks down at Geto's injuries, then sighs. You look awful, Suguru. Geto laughs, despite the pain. Yeah, guess I lost, huh? Gojo doesn't say anything. Then he raises his hand. A moment of silence. Then, fade to black. We don't see it happen, but we know this is the moment Gojo kills Geto. The truth about Rika, Yuta breaks the curse. After the battle, Yuta sits with Rika's spirit, her monstrous form now fading away, and that's when Gojo tells him the shocking truth. Rika wasn't the one who cursed Yuta. Yuta was the one who cursed Rika. His love, his grief, his overwhelming emotions trapped Rika's soul, binding her to him as a curse. Horrified, Yuta breaks down, but Rika smiles. She touches his face, her monstrous form softening, her voice gentle. "It's okay, Yuta. Thank you for loving me so much." With one final smile, Rika's spirit fades away, finally at peace. Yuta's new journey begins. In the aftermath, Yuta decides to stay at Jujutsu High, not to escape his past, but to honor Rika's memory and protect others. He trains harder, refines his skills, and ultimately becomes one of the strongest sorcerers in the world. And in a post-credit scene, we see him in Africa, meeting Miguel, the sorcerer from Geto's army, training for what's next. His journey isn't over, it's just beginning. Final thoughts: how this sets up Jujutsu Kaisen. With Yuta's story wrapped up, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 perfectly sets the stage for the main series. We see the friendship and rivalry between Gojo and Geto. Yuta's existence explains why Yuji Itadori was able to avoid execution, because Gojo saw the same potential in him. Yuta's return in Season 2 shows how much stronger he's become. And most importantly, Rika wasn't just a curse. She was a symbol of Yuta's love. And in the end, that love gave him the strength to let her go. That's the full breakdown of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to stick around for more Jujutsu Kaisen content. What do you think of Yuta's story? Do you think he could surpass Gojo one day? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.